The morning sun stretched across the quiet suburban town, glinting off the windows of Hillcrest High as students streamed through the front gates with backpacks slung lazily over their shoulders and chatter filling the air. It was the kind of school where cliques were carved into invisible stone, where the rich jocks and cheerleaders ruled the hallways like kings and queens, and where anyone new quickly learned the harsh reality of either conforming or being crushed. That morning, a girl walked in through those gates, her head held high, a subtle determination etched into her calm face. Her name was Aria, and while to most people she looked like any other teenage transfer student, quiet, reserved, with deep brown eyes that didn't give much away, there was something about her presence that made even the breeze pause around her. Aria wasn't just another new girl. She carried within her the discipline of years of martial arts training, the calm spirit of a champion, and the scars of having been underestimated too many times before. She wasn't there to show off, but she wasn't going to let anyone write her story for her either. The first few hours passed like any first day. Teachers introduced her awkwardly to the class. Some students smiled politely, but most either ignored her or sized her up with curiosity. New students were rare here, and gossip traveled fast. By lunchtime, whispers had already started spreading about her clothes, her accent, her silence. "She's probably stuck up," one girl sneered. "Or maybe she's scared," another suggested. But in the corner of the cafeteria sat a group of boys who weren't whispering. They were watching. The varsity jackets they wore weren't just uniforms, they were armor of arrogance, symbols of the power they thought they owned. Among them was Brent, the ringleader, a tall, broad-shouldered senior whose ego filled the room before he even opened his mouth. He saw Aria as prey, not realizing she was the wrong girl to pick on. The day dragged on until the final bell rang, and the corridors flooded with laughter, shouts, and slamming lockers. Aria moved through the crowd quietly, clutching her books, trying to find her next class without drawing attention. But the bullies had already decided she was their entertainment. Brent nudged his friends and smirked. "Watch this. Let's see how tough the new girl really is." They cornered her near the lockers, cutting off her path. At first, it was the usual verbal jabs, mocking her clothes, making fun of how she didn't talk much. She kept her composure, ignoring them, which only fueled their anger. Bullies thrived on reactions, and her calm silence felt like an insult. That's when Brent stepped closer, too close, and crossed a line. His hand shot out toward her chest, a crude smirk twisting his face as his friends laughed. The hallway seemed to freeze in that moment. A few students nearby gasped but didn't dare intervene. This was Brent, after all, and nobody challenged him. Aria's eyes flickered, not with fear, but with something far more dangerous. In that split second, years of training surged through her muscles like electricity. She dropped her books, her body flowing into movement before Brent could even process what was happening. Her hand snapped to his wrist, twisting it in a precise lock that made him yelp in shock. With a fluid pivot, she used his own momentum against him, slamming him against the locker with a thud that echoed through the hall. The laughter from his friends died instantly, replaced with wide-eyed disbelief. Aria's voice, calm yet razor-sharp, cut through the silence. "Don't ever touch me again." Her words weren't shouted, but the steel in her tone carried more weight than a scream ever could. Brent, clutching his wrist, stared at her with a mixture of pain and humiliation. He had never been manhandled, much less by a girl, and the realization burned his pride like acid. His friends exchanged nervous glances, unsure whether to step in or step back. The hallway buzzed with whispers now, phones secretly lifted to capture the scene. For the first time, the predator looked like prey. But Aria didn't push further. Not yet. She released him and calmly picked up her books, her movements deliberate, controlled. The strength of a true martial artist wasn't in starting fights, but in ending them with precision and discipline. Still, the look she left Brent with was enough to plant fear in his chest, though his pride masked it with rage. She turned and walked away, her steps unhurried, leaving behind an entire hallway of students who would remember that moment for the rest of the year. Yet the story was far from over. Brent wasn't the type to accept humiliation quietly. As Aria made her way to her next class, the whispers multiplied. Videos were already being shared in group chats, and the stage for the next confrontation was being set. Aria knew it too. She could feel the storm brewing, but she wasn't afraid. If anything, she was ready, because bullies always underestimated the quiet ones. They saw weakness where there was hidden strength. And for the first time, Hillcrest High was about to learn the hard way that this new girl wasn't someone you messed with. She was a black belt champion, and she wasn't going to let anyone strip her of her dignity. And to everyone watching this story unfold here with us, remember this: courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it walks quietly into a new place and waits until the right moment to rise. If you've ever been underestimated, if you've ever been bullied, let this story remind you that your strength runs deeper than you think. And before we step into the next chapter of Arya's journey, where Brent and his friends will try to strike back, but discover just how unstoppable she really is, make sure you hit that subscribe button on our channel, because you won't want to miss the powerful ending. Join us, support us, and let's stand together against bullying,